Brickhouse Brewery sits on the corner of Bridge Street in Corning, an area that years ago drew in quite a bit of foot traffic.
In more recent years, it's definitely been slower, and we're trying to draw some attention to all of the north side that doesn't get as much face time.
That's where the idea for a mural, stretched along a 60-foot wide wall outside, first came into play. It's one that would be funded using a Kickstarter page. The owners say they hope this way the community will feel just as invested and involved.
I do a lot of murals inside and out, commercial and residential, but this sort of thing has a larger purpose. When you're involving a community in a project like this, then it's a lot more fulfilling than just painting.
The hope is for the mural to beautify and highlight Bridge Street along with the rest of Corning's north side, an area the owners say they feel can often be overlooked by tourists.
One way they plan to do that is through an interactive design.
They're going to be engaged in a visual that's kind of intriguing because it feels like you can step right into it, and that'll be an experience to take home. So the experiential side is a big part of it.
The other part will be history. The design looks to tap into both iconic and little-known parts of Corning's past.
So we wanted to kind of make sure that the river was included in our mural, the fall foliage, of course, but we do have some glass blowing in there, and just kind of pull in some more history of, Corning that maybe not everybody always thinks about, and then we could get more people interested in coming to see the mural to even see, and be drawn to that beauty.
The hope is to have the mural completed within a few weeks. But with unpredictable weather, the team believes September is a reasonable goal.
The campaign now has just under 3 weeks to reach that $13,000 goal. As of today, it sits at just under $3,300. For now, reporting in Corning, Kara Demers, WENY News.
Sitting on almost 500 acres of scenery, Sheffield Farm lies only a mile from downtown Ithaca. Back when it was first purchased, it only made up about 70 acres. Since then, the Sawinski family has worked to acquire even more, so much that through the Finger Lakes Land Trust, they'll now be sure it remains as is.
In many cases, we find families that are passionate about conserving their land, and the challenge is how, with limited resources, secure the areas that are most important.
This process is called conservation easement. Through a legal agreement, owners work with the land trust to limit what can be done on what is typically farm or forestry land.
Here in Ithaca, for example, it will now go to another farmer rather than what would typically happen is it would be sold for development.
Just a few months ago, the land trust also acquired a piece on the west side of Cayuga Lake.
And we today own and manage a network of more than 30 public conservation areas that are open, have trails, and essentially are parks that people can enjoy.
And as their portfolio continues to grow, the nonprofit also looks to residents of the Finger Lakes to be aware and take initiative in their efforts.
We have a lot of work in front of us about educating landowners and their advisors and local communities. It's also important that others get involved because the land trust alone simply can't do all the work that needs to be done.
Reporting in Ithaca, Kara Demers, WENY News.
It really is an amazing thing to watch the joy that Sarah or any mini horse brings to these residents.
That's why for a few hours at a time, Kathy Fortier and her miniature horse Sarah pay a visit to Corning Center. Sarah is a 10-year-old certified miniature therapy horse, and for the past few months, her and 2 other minis have been brightening the days of many.
Sometimes we people can't reach their soul, but horses can.
Tender Grace Miniature Horse Therapy is the first of its kind here in the Southern Tier. It offers something a little unique when residents see a pony walk through the doors.
Here, Sarah. Here. Oh, I was surprised, but I was happy because I love ponies. I love ponies, I love horses.
It all started when Fortier thought she was rescuing a miniature horse. She then did her research and found this form of therapy was just as rewarding for herself.
From then on, I knew that this was my calling because ultimately we aren't here for ourselves, we are here to serve others. And if I can bring my passion and bring them joy, that's all I need.
Sarah typically stops in here at Corning Center once a month, and it's a visit that residents say they look forward to time and time again.
Pony, yeah. Pony, it's going to be back?
Yep.
Oh, great. Yeah,
hang out with
I love that pony.
And that seems to be the case for anyone who gets the opportunity to meet Sarah.
It's everything. It's everything. It's amazing to be able to know that all the work that we put into caring for them and transporting them and getting them ready for a visit, you see the smiles on these faces. It's good.
Reporting in Corning, Kara Demers, WENY News.